Good morning, students. Yesterday and day before yesterday, I sent you notice writing and poster writing. Do those exercises in your fair notebook and start practice at home. You have lot much time and utilize it. Stay at home and learn the things. Do practice on your own. Today, I am going to start chapter 4, Vistas, the Enemy. This chapter comprises of 28 pages, so I will teach it in parts. At one stretch, it is not possible. Every day, I will send a video of at least 7 to 8 or 7 to 9 pages. And every day, you will listen to it in continuation and go through the story. Word by word, I am teaching you the enemy. A war was going on between Japan and America. The protagonist, the main character of the story is Dr. Sadao Hoki. All the other doctors had been sent to the border where the war was going on to look after the injured soldiers except Dr. Sadao Hoki. Why he was kept in Japan? The story is taking place in Japan. He was kept there because the general, the emperor of Japan, was undergoing a treatment, a clinical treatment of his heart surgery, and it was being done by Dr. Sadao. Anytime the general could require an operation, that's why he was there. Now come to the first line of the story. Dr. Sadao's house was situated on the coast of Japan. He had been living there since his childhood. The house had a low height and was made of stone. It was set upon the rocky beach which had a boundary line made with pine trees that were tilted towards one side. When Dr. Sadao was a child, he would climb up the pine trees. On the visits to the South Seas, he would see men do so in order to get coconuts from the trees. He would accompany his father to the islands of the South Seas often. His father would point towards the island and would say that those were the stepping stones towards the future of Japan. Dr. Sadao would question him childishly that where would they reach from those islands. His father would reply that it was not known as it depended on the future. The future had no limits. It depended on mankind, how it shaped its future. Sadao retained all the things that his father would tell him as a child. He was a papa boy. His father never played or jogged with him. They shared a mature relation, and his father underwent a lot of hardships to bring him up. Sadao knew that his father was concerned about his education. He was sent to America at the age of 22 to study surgery and medicine. He returned at the age of 30. Before dying, Sadao's father, he had seen Sadao becoming famous not only as a surgeon but also as a scientist. Sadao was on his way to discover a treatment for wounds which would make them absolutely clean. So he was not sent abroad with the forces as a doctor. Also, he was retained in Japan because the old general, the emperor, was suffering from an ailment, a disease which needed to be operated upon in case of an emergency. The writer describes the scene outside Dr. Sadao's house. As the days were unusually warm and the sea waves were cold, the nights became foggy. Dr. Sadao saw the boundary of a nearby island became invisible gradually as it got covered in the mist. Fog was falling down and covering the whole area. Slowly, the mist was coming closer to him. Soon there would be mist all around his house. At that time, he would go back into the house to his wife Hana, who was waiting for him along with their 2 children. Before Sadao could go inside, the door opened and his wife looked out for him. She was wearing a dark blue colored gown over the dress. She lovingly crossed her arm with his smile at him and remained silent, stood by her husband. They had met in America. Sadao knew that his father would marry him to a Japanese girl only, so he ensured this before falling in love with her, whether she was a Japanese girl or not. Sadao considered himself to be lucky to have met her at an American professor's house. He wondered that that had he not met her, if he had not met Hana, he would not have got a wife all his life. He thought that the professor and his wife were kind, as they were keen, means interested to help foreign students. He was glad that they had accepted this kindness and went to their house, because it was there that he had met Hana. Sadao would often tell Hana that it was a mere coincidence that he went to the professor's house that night, as the rooms in his house were so small, the food was not good, and professor's wife was very talkative, very voluble. If he had not gone there that night, he would not have met Hana. At that time, Hana was a new student. Sadao had thought that he would love her if at all it would be possible for him. And what possibility he was expecting? That the girl should be a true Japanese. Otherwise, his father would not accept her. Sadao and Hana loved each other even after having 2 children. After many years of marriage, they had not married in a haste and in America. First, they completed their schooling, their studies. They came back to their home country, to Japan, and they sought permission from their parents. Then marriage took place in a traditional Japanese way. They had discussed all the details before the wedding. They were happy with each other. Hana rested her cheek against her husband's arm with affection. They were not talking to each other. That moment they saw a figure appear out of the mist. It appeared black in color due to the mist in the air. The outline of a man's body was visible in the mist. He walked unsteadily with his arms above the head. It was an indication that he was a prisoner. The man walked a few steps and then disappeared in the mist, in the fog. Upon seeing the figure, Hana reacted by asking that who was that? She took her arm out of Sadao's arm and both of them bent forward over the railing of the veranda to have a closer look at the man. They saw him again. He was crawling on his hands and knees. Then he fell on his face and kept on lying there. Probably he had fainted. He had become unconscious. As the area had villages full of fishermen, Sadao said that probably it was a fisherman who had been washed up, who had been left behind his boat. He ran to help him. Hana followed him, and the loose sleeves of her gown flew as she ran. The part of the coast was not inhabited, as it had dangerous rocks on it. As the rocks were pointed, the man could be badly injured, although he had managed to come through them. He had crossed the rocks, but he must have been injured badly. As the Japanese couple saw the man, they realized that he was badly injured. The sand on which he lay had blood stains on one side, which indicated that he was wounded. Sadao said that the man was wounded. He approached the man who lay motionless with his face buried in the sand. An old cap hung on his head. It was soaked with sea water. His dress was also wet and torn. Sadao turned the man's head, and as they saw the face, Hana spoke confidentially that he was a white, he was an American. The injured man was an American. As his cap fell off, they saw his wet, yellow colored hair, which had not been cut for a long time. He was young, his face had such marks which indicated that he had been tortured for many days. He had a rough and uncleaned yellow golden colored beard. As he had fainted, he did not know of the presence of Sadao and Hannah near him. Sadao was reminded that the man was wounded as he had been blood-stained on the sand. And as he was a doctor, he moved his trained fingers around the man's back to search for the wound. He felt blood coming out, oozing out of a wound in the lower part of his back. It was a gunshot. The man had been injured a few days ago. He had not got any medical help to treat the wound, as he had himself used some black colored substance on it. The sharp rocks on the shore had pierced it, and so it was bleeding when doctor touched it. And students will continue tomorrow from the same page. Keep in your mind it is part 1.